Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Shivani Gupta, and today I'm going to share with you how you can use Ayurveda to boost your immune system and have your immune system be its strongest and healthiest. I've done my background and my master's in Ayurvedic sciences, and my PhD was also in Ayurvedic sciences with a dissertation on turmeric. So I'm so passionate about this system of health and healing and how we can use it to live our healthiest and from our body, mind, and spirit perspective. For me, a long time ago, I learned that if I didn't stand vigilant for my health, all sorts of things would come at me and get me sick. And when I learned what Ayurveda could do for us, I was in love. So for all of you who don't know what Ayurveda is, it's a system of medicine from India that's over 5,000 years old. And it encompasses many different areas of health and wellness. So yoga is a sister science to Ayurveda. We have pranayam, we have nutrition and how to eat and what to eat and what kind of combinations. There's food combinations and foods that you should eat according to your body constitution. Then there's also detoxification. Panchakarma is a 21-day detox we are taught to do every single year to keep our bodies healthy and optimal. Then there's something called dinacharya, or the daily rituals that you can have for self-care every single day in your life to detox and support your body towards optimal health. Then there's so many other areas, movement and all the different ways, energy healing. There's many arenas and areas that Ayurveda covers. And what I like to cover and talk about is all the different ways it can give us that daily support. I want to live my healthiest, longest, high quality life that I can in this body that I was given. And so I'm here to share that with you. Today's topic is immunity, because I know it's so important to all of us to keep our immune systems healthy. Sometimes we're going through a viral cold and flu season. Sometimes we just want to stay our healthiest because we're going to be traveling or whatever it may be for you. So let's talk about the immune system for a minute and the different ways that Ayurveda can show us to support it. So today I'm going to approach this from 5 different ways: gut health, nutrition, movement, getting outside for vitamin D, sunlight, and our circadian rhythm, and then sleep. Those are going to be my 5 topics, but I'll approach them with Ayurvedic background and Ayurvedic science tips for all that. So number 1, let's talk about gut health. Many of you probably know that 80% of the gut, 80% of your immune system is in the gut. So our gut digestive system is there absorbing all the food that we eat, but it also takes in all the toxins, the pesticides, all the other stuff, good or bad, that we put into our bodies or absorb into our bodies. And that same digestive tract has villi. If the digestive tract gets congested, that also moves over to the lymphatic system and congests the lymphatic system. So your lymphatic system is the circulatory system that's helping move things through your body. It's helping you detox things that come into the body. So if that system gets clogged up, if there's a traffic jam in there, then all of a sudden you've got to back up. And the body is trying to deal with fighting with that. The immune system's trying to fight what's going on and deal with that issue, as opposed to being aware of new things and new viruses or colds that could be coming at you. So it's very important to be aware of the fact that the lymphatic system is tied to your gut. And so whatever you're choosing to eat or drink, or the way in which you're choosing to eat or drink, could affect it. So let's talk about that for a moment. In Ayurveda, we call your digestion Agni. Agni, the word, means fire. So we call this the digestive fire. And there are so many different practices within Ayurveda purely focused on having the digestive fire be its strongest, be optimal, rekindling it. I could do a whole video on that, and I might do a class just on gut health because it's a big deal. For the practical purposes of immunity, what I'm going to say is do what keeps your digestive system happy. You probably know what that means. You know when you eat foods that are inflammatory and irritating to the gut, and all of a sudden your whole system's clogged. Maybe the next morning you try to go to the bathroom, it's not as high quality as it normally is. You know when you eat things or have experiences that make you constipated, like just pay attention to that, because those are signals from your own gut that it's not happy with what's coming down the pipes, and it's showing you that on the other direction. And so Agni digestion is a big part of that. Now, let's talk about nutrition for a moment. My number two pillar for immune system. Nutrition is so important. We hear that all the time. We're told, hey, eat fresh foods, eat more plant-based. Some people say go vegan. Some people teach keto. There's so many different plans out there for how to eat. What I like to do is not approach anything from that direction, but instead teach you the guidelines that Ayurveda taught us so that we can absorb whatever nutrition we're putting in and eat from a nutrition standpoint that will support us. And of course, gut health and nutrition are tied in, so you'll see how these two tie in. So from a nutrition standpoint, could you eat a diet that was less inflammatory? Think about it this way. So just like I shared, that you have the gut health system surrounded by this lymphatic system and intertwined with it really, and you're clogging it all up if your digestion is off. In the same way, if you have inflammation going on in the body, let's say you've got knee pain or like tooth pain, or really it's gum pain that I hear about a lot, or you've got headaches, or you're getting all these different signals from your body. Maybe your skin is breaking out. Maybe you're feeling really sluggish and low energy. There's a lot of signs out there for chronic, low-grade, persistent inflammation. Those signs are all your body saying, hello, hello, I'm over here. There's something wrong here and here and here and here. And are you hearing me? It says it like a whisper. It says it like a couple of different symptoms at first. But eventually they get louder and louder and louder. And then you might fall sick or go to the doctor and get a diagnosis. So before all that happens, pay attention. And if you're not really getting a lot of those signals, but you are tired, foggy, sluggish, low energy, you're like, wait, in case this is my immune system saying, giving me a wake-up call, let me listen. So a way to do that is reduce the inflammatory foods that you're eating or reduce inflammation in your system overall. So let's talk about that. What are the top 5 inflammatory foods? Can you think of them? Can you name them off the top of your head? The ones that I typically talk about that are most inflammatory are gluten, dairy, sugar, meat, and alcohol. And typically when I name that list, everyone's like, whoa, 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 don't take away my foods. Don't take away my foods. And I completely hear you because it's not easy. It's not easy to give up things that we love. So let's talk about how you can do that. Gluten for many people doesn't suit them. It's very hard to give up. But if it doesn't suit you and you give it up, I have found it to be one of the most effective ways to allow the gut to heal and allow your digestive system to work properly. I personally am gluten intolerant. I know many people who I've asked them to just give up gluten for a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, and your own body will tell you if it's really a problem for your system. So try it. Do a 14-day gluten-free. You can even use all those gluten-free substitutes out there. There's gluten-free bread, gluten-free tortillas, gluten-free everything. Or you can find replacements and use rice and other things and almond flour. But that's one way. Now sugar. I know sugar is hard for many to give up, but giving up those sodas, lemonades, juices, sugary drinks, sugar in your coffee, sugary desserts, sugary treats. Sugar's hidden in a lot of things. It's not easy to give up sugar completely, but if you can dramatically reduce the amount of sugar you're eating, you're going to dramatically reduce the inflammation in your system as well. Then let's talk about dairy. Dairy, it's controversial. People are like up in arms about giving up their dairy, but a lot of people have now understood the science that dairy can be inflammatory to the system, and maybe it's not so great for many of us. So dairy is one of those things as well. You can give it up, and then you'll see when you bring it back, if you feel, a little irritated or sluggish in the gut, maybe it's not the right food for you. Then meat. A lot of people who I have guided about the anti-inflammatory diet will reduce the meat they eat or reduce the number of days they eat red meat. I am not saying meat is bad. I'm saying meat is inflammatory for some people. So could you make a choice that shifts that for you and then see within your own body? One way to know is if you have chronic joint pain. If you have joint pain and all of a sudden it's disappearing because you're taking certain foods out, that's a message to you that it was inflammation from the food that was exacerbating the issue that you're dealing with. And then the last one is alcohol. Can you reduce your consumption of alcohol? Can you make it so that if you do consume alcohol, you're not having sugar and those things with it? Can you reduce the amount of it that you have overall? So from a nutrition standpoint, my main point is, can we talk about those inflammatory foods? Can you reduce them somewhat and really support the system? Because now all of a sudden, let's say you cool down all that inflammation that was lingering and clogging up the system. And let's say the lymphatic system can now circulate and move properly again. All of a sudden, everything's flowing. All of a sudden, the body is detoxing itself at night. The body is detoxing itself all throughout the day. It's doing what it needs to do. And now if some little foreign thing comes along, your body's like, chomp, throw it out. That thing doesn't belong in me. As opposed to something coming in and like taking root, and your body's like, I don't know what that is, but I'm too busy fighting these 18 fires that were already part of my life and that I'm dealing with. And then all of a sudden you just topple over and fall sick, right? So we're trying to prevent that type of situation from happening. Instead, let's have a clear, awesome running engine here that like works well and does what we need it to do. All right, let's move on to my pillar number 3, movement. So moving and exercising we know is important for our health overall, right? And within Ayurveda, we always taught that yoga is a great way to do it. We also taught that walking outdoors is also a great way to build up the body and keep it strong and healthy. It's interesting because when I used to travel to India to big Ayurvedic detox centers, they would say, you know what, you people in America think you need to lift weight and get such big muscles, and you don't need to do it. I find that I like to have strength. I like to have muscle strength. We know that building muscle and lifting weight, I should say lifting weight, gives us better bone density and bone health. I just think it's important to move whatever way you're willing to move. And can you push yourself a little bit to be more active? Because that will support the immune system. Typically cold and flu season happens winter time. Why? Because all of a sudden we're hibernating, we're hunkering down, we're staying indoors. There's less sunlight and less vitamin D coming towards us. We're just like less moving because it's too cold outside to go outside. And that stuckness in Ayurveda is a concept called kapha. Kapha is one of the 3 doshas. I'll be doing videos explaining to you the 3 mind, body, constitution types that exist. They are pitta, kapha, and vata. And so a kapha person is usually like slow moving and grounded and a little bit more stuck in where they are. And so that will cause, if you imagine that like traffic jam or like phlegm and heavy feeling that I was talking about earlier. So instead, can you work to break through that? Could you walk for 30 minutes a day? Could you yoga for 30 minutes a day? Work out, Zumba, do some dancing and get all the different systems and body parts moving. Whatever that is for you, Pilates even, try it. Try to get out there and move the body. That's gonna get your circulatory system moving. It also helps increase the digestion because you're moving the body, you're getting things moving through the system. Blood pumping, it's just so important. I think we tend to get very sedentary, and that sedentary lifestyle is just not supported for a healthy lifestyle overall. Number 4, my 4th pillar is to get outside and acclimate yourself and align yourself to the circadian rhythm that is happening all around you in nature. So it's so important. This concept of living according to circadian rhythm came from Ayurveda. And just a few years ago, a few Nobel Peace Prize winners proved that circadian medicine is relevant to our health. And we were like, yes, thank you for proving to the West what we already were saying was so true. So circadian rhythm means following the 24-hour clock of nature. It already exists. It's already happening outside, right? So outside right now, the sun rises, the sun sets, there's a high sun point, there's like a middle of the night point. I have a whole chart that shows this, but if you follow it, if you actually follow it instead of fighting it, you can really support your health. So melatonin is actually the regulator of this clock. It's not just what helps put you to sleep, it's almost like the janitor of it all that's helping you regulate the sleep cycle. And so what's interesting is during the morning time, it's recommended from Ayurveda that you wake up and get outside, like go. For me, that's my window, so I'm pointing that way. For you, whichever direction the window is, Get outdoors, get that sunlight to hit your skin, hit your face. Even if you're not an outdoor person, go stand at the window and like soak up the sunlight for a moment. What that does is it's a signal to your body, stop melatonin production, we're starting our day now. So do that. Don't just like go straight to the coffee and use that to wake up. Utilize the sun, harness the power of it. So once you've done that, it's also important sometime in your day to get outside. We get vitamin D from the sun, and vitamin D boosts the immune system. Over 80% of people in the US are vitamin D deficient. That's a big deal. Vitamin D is not just for the immune system. It helps with a lot of other things that we need to work in the body. With vitamin D, you do have to pay attention that it is important to get yourself tested and know your vitamin D levels. You could take too much and then that's bad for you. But many people are vitamin D deficient. So generally it's recommended to take about 4,000 to 5,000 IUs of vitamin D a day. But again, get tested and know that you're not one of the people who's going to be overdoing it. So get outside, get that sunlight, sync yourself with nature. So I talked about circadian rhythm in the day, but it's also important to get out in nature so you become one with nature. It's a great time to practice your breathing exercises. Pranayama just means breathing exercises. So whether you do in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, whether you do Nadi Shuddhi breath, which is where you inhale from one, hold, exhale from the other, inhale from that one, hold, exhale from that one, is so good for brain health, so good for the nervous system. We know that we have a parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. So either we're in rest and digest mode or we're in fight or flight mode. So stress takes a big toll on the body because any stress in our lives, whether it's like reading a bad email or talking to someone on the phone who's negative or reading something negative on social media, anything that ignites stress in the body and a stress response is going to put us in fight or flight mode. So what's a great way to undo that? Just get outside for a few minutes, breathe, be with the trees, be with nature, look at the trees, kind of just sync up and recalibrate with nature. Nature's there to support us and help us stay calm and stay healthy and stay in rhythm. So that's my biggest recommendation for pillar number 4 that I'm talking about when it comes to getting outside. Now let's talk about pillar number 5, which is sleep. And within pillar number 4, count stress reduction as part of getting outside and vitamin D and all of that, because stress is a big part of what happens to our immune system as well. Now for sleep is a topic I'm very passionate about. I'll probably do a whole video on sleep for you guys. Ayurveda has like a plethora of advice on how to get better sleep. And I built a couple videos on it last year, and I actually like researched it all, put it all together, and then started practicing it. And once I practiced it, my life changed. I started getting really high quality sleep. So instead of waking up every day like tired and, oh my God, I have to get these kids ready for school again, it's just another day, like that feeling, I now wake up ready to rumble. I'm like, let's go, people. You get to school, I'm getting to the gym. This is my plan today. Just a whole different outlook and mindset and mood and energy level towards the day. And that all comes from sleep. So what I'll say about sleep related to the immune system is, we know from Ayurveda that 10 to 2 is the optimal time to be asleep. Many of us don't want to be asleep by 10. We don't think we can be asleep by 10. I am telling you, it is key. It is key for digestion. Let me explain why. 10 to 2 on the Ayurveda clock is the time for Pitta. It's one of the doshas. It's the time where Agni, or the digestive fire, is the highest. So imagine that digestive fire that's in there is ready to burn up and deal with all the toxins and negativity and stress from the day. If you sleep from 10 to 2, you have the greatest opportunity for what I call the garbage trucks to come out. So the garbage trucks come out and take all the garbage from our minds, whatever got filled in there from the day, garbage from our emotions and our heart, whatever got like stuck in there for the day, garbage from our gut, all that toxin and poison and pesticides and whatever else was on our food or what we were thinking about while we were eating food, or if we were mindlessly eating, all that stuff gets accumulated. All that inflammation that's all over the body. Let's say you have joint pain, let's say you hurt yourself whatever, all of it gets accumulated, collected, and flushed out of the body first thing in the morning. Now, if you didn't sleep during that time, what do you think happens? The lymphatic system is getting clogged up, it's getting polluted because it didn't get to flush its toxins. And in pretty recent science, they finally proved that there's something called the lymphatic system up here, where the lymphatics all take the brain stuff, the brain toxins that accumulate, and flush them out through the cerebral spinal column in the nighttime. So imagine there's so much stuff that's accumulating and not getting flushed if you don't sleep 6 to 8 hours a night. That's what's recommended to allow a complete flush of all of that out of our bodies. Science has shown it. There's studies that show it. I'm not just saying that. So I want you to know that that's so important, is sleeping the 6 to 8 hours, giving yourself that gift. That is a gift to your immune system. Could you prioritize that over reading more social media or watching more TV, or I don't know what else you have going on, maybe work, maybe sleeping more will allow you to be more focused, so you'll finish your work faster, so you're not having to work late into the night to try to finish all the work. There's all sorts of things we do and rationales we come up with for sacrificing sleep, but I find if we could just make ourselves sleep enough, then all of a sudden everything else from a quality of life standpoint can shift for us. So just think about sleep as such an important support to your system. And then of course, I'll just say it one more time because I only covered it in going outside, but stress management. So stress management's a big deal. We'll call it the bonus after the 5 pillars. Stresses are going to come our way. We are living in a modern day life. We're living in this modern day culture that we have. But with the stress that we have, what are some tools we can use to help us mitigate it? Because it's going to be there. So what are the tools? In a future video, I will share with you self-care tips. I have one called Tea Time is Me Time, where I sit and have a cup of tea a few times a day, and I pause and really recalibrate. I say, how am I feeling? Is anything hurting or aching? Do I need to walk around and stretch? Like, what do I need to do right now to feel better? And I have a couple of others: meditation, pranayam, yoga, collect peace is one of them. And so I'll share those with you as well. But think about your tools that help you reduce stress in your body and how you can use them when you're trying to support your immune system a little bit more. A little bit more about me. Now that I've shared all that with you, please utilize this knowledge. I hope it supports you. I hope it helps you have the strongest and the best immune system possible. I am always available for Q&A to answer any questions you might have. My name again is Dr. Shivani Gupta. And another thing that I do that I wanted to share with you is I am the founder of a supplement company called Fusionary Formulas. The bottles are right there. And we have some supplements that can support you if you're looking to support your immune system. I have something called Turmeric Gold, something called Immune Booster, a formula called Deep Sleep. I have a supplement called Stress Relief plus Ashwagandha. So if you're interested in learning more about that, let me know. And I'm just so excited to share with you guys this amazing health and healing system called Ayurveda. Ayurveda teaches us amazing ways to detox the body, amazing ways to live daily in a way that supports our body from the ground up, amazing tools for sleep, amazing tools for self-care, for having that like glow and great skin and healthy hair and vibrancy that we all want. And I cannot wait to share all of that with you on future shows through Well World TV. So have an amazing day, everyone. Be healthy, be well, have a delicious cup of tea, stay hydrated, and support that immune system so you can stay your healthiest. I'm signing off, and I'll see you next week.